Three-wheel action underway. Here's Barry Nutley and James Whittam.
10 laps then for the final race of the 2012 Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship. The title already decided. That will not detract from what we're witnessing now. Roger Lovelock and Rick Lawrence want to go home with a pocket full of money and a flourish, and they are in second. York Steinhausen up to third. Starting from the back of the grid, we'll see Scott Lorry and Sean Hegarty. Lorry retired, Hegarty shed his passenger. James, it was all action in race one.
Yeah, I just like that phrase, shed his passenger. Like it's a load of sweets or something that's fallen off a wagon.
loose load. And Lovelock has gone through while we were waffling about him.
Yeah, he's not. I tell you what, from the back of the grid, he's cracking on there. Hegarty at the back of the grid as well, because... Was that a breakdown? There's Hegarty's making...
Yeah, Hegarty coming through, but it's Reeves, Lovelock, York Steinhausen, anxious to make amends. We saw York Steinhausen's passenger Greg Clues put his hand up a couple of times in race one.
Yeah.
They had an intermittent electrical problem.
Okay.
Hopefully that's sorted. Now, the BMW we know is very, very quick.
Yeah.
Traction control, it has all the gizmos.
Yeah, and as a street bike, you know, that S1000RR BM that the engine comes straight out of the electric system on that third place outfit, of Steinhausen, it has all the whistles and bells, the traction control, the anti-wheelie, all that comes on the standard bike.
These five, I beg your pardon, getting away. It's a 15-wheeler up into second place then. Steinhausen ahead of Lovelock and Lawrence. The new champions will go home to Wiltshire with the silverware. Reeves, can he make it another double here? Well, the German will clearly have other ideas. Andy Peach, number 4, Charlie Richardson in the chair. They nearly put a spanner in the works in race one, but they openly admitted to not wanting to hamper Roger Lovelock's championship. They're sporting for it.
That is sporting, yeah, and a lot of these sidecar lads are, you know, it's like almost a community within the paddock. They look after each other, they all sort of hang together and spend time off the track together, generally as well.
Well, they'll be spending a bit of time together tonight, I tell you, because our race is done. We'll have to keep the noise down, that's for sure.
Yeah, don't be waking me up, Barry, if you're going to get out of shape there with them.
Fifth place, number 60, Ben Holland and Lee Watson, 4th in the first race. They're very much in touch now. Ricky Stevens went so well. He finished 6th in the first race. He's running right there again ahead of Johan Reutel, Acciato. Look at York Steinhausen. Steinhausen, now having got the BMW sorted, is right on the case of Tim Reeves and Ashley Hawes. And how York Steinhausen would love to steal one on Tim Reeves.
Absolutely. The time's a little bit down from what they were doing in race one. They were down to, well, certainly a couple of the outfits. Certainly that man there in the lead. Tim Reeves went round at a 130 flat. They're up in about 136s now. I don't know what track conditions are like. We've seen a little bit of drizzle, a bit of rain. I think it's drying up now, though.
It is cold out there.
Yeah, it is.
Turned
absolutely.
Bitterly cold. These 4 then, 4th place in the race, 4 on the bike, 4th in the championship last year. Lots of 4s for Andy Peach on the Suzuki. Suzuki lead, BMW in second. Predominantly Suzuki's used in this class. Suzuki in third, Suzuki 4th, Suzuki 5th. But the BMW really going well. Now they're going, breaking away, look. In pursuit, there's the 131. Steinhausen then, the quickest one, 131, almost dead.
Yeah, and you're looking at all these sidecars having engines that are lifted pretty much straight out of modern day 1 litre superbikes. In the case of that man there, obviously BMW colours, it's a factory bike, if you like. They get help from BMW, that hence the BMW colours. And about 180, 190 brake horsepower. The BM's probably tops out of 200.
And I'll tell you what, there's a sticker sneaked on the side of that bike. If you have a look at the right-hand side of that BMW outfit, if we get a chance, would you believe it's Bill-based?
All right, okay.
So there you go. Alongside then Tim Reeves, almost. York Steinhausen, Gregory Clues, the French passenger from just in the Bordeaux region of France. And Steinhausen taking he's determined.
Yeah, that's determined, but to get past there at that point on the track with outfits that are obviously about 3 times the width of a Solo is going to be difficult. Get a look, though.
Round they go, up to the left-hander then. Right, Stirlings, and now away out of Stirlings.
Yeah, passengers getting tucked in as best they can. Slipstreaming still important with these things. They cut a fair, decent-sized hole in the air that you can get stuck in that hole. That does help drag you along on the straight.
Well, it's been a long, tough season. This the 9th round, 2 races at every round, and it's been fantastic to be running a British Superbike on the big stage, as it were. And the crowds, I think, beginning to appreciate what they've missed for the last generation.
Yeah, it's a different kind of discipline, you know. There's a lot more grip. They're a little bit slower on the straights because they haven't got the power-to-weight ratio that the solos, certainly the superbike solos, have got. But yeah, they're quicker in the corners, a little bit more grip, and I think people like watching them. It's different.
I tell you what's impressing me, Roger Lovelock and Rick Lawrence, the championship already firmly tucked away in their pocket. They're not letting up at all. They're in third place. They're heading for another podium here, but we are on lap 4 of this 10-lap race. Jörg Steinhausen and Greg Clues are really on Tim Reeves's case at the moment. Under they go, down towards the right handle. Westfield, Hawthorne Bend, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Then up to Westfield. Westfield ahead of them now, 5th gear this. That's about 120 miles an hour around there.
Yeah, and it's slightly quicker with an outfit, certainly an F1 outfit like these, than it is on the solos. You've just got a little bit more grip, and especially when it's a right-hander, because obviously the sidecar wheel is on the right-hand side of the left-hand side of the bike, so they're quicker than the right-handers.
Steinhausen then, he's close now.
Quick.
This BMW is fast. Under the bridge they go, down towards the right-hander of Clearways. Now, is he going to be able to do anything down the start-finish straight? Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson being dropped away a little bit in 4th, as indeed is Ben Holland. So I'd hesitate to say it's a 2-horse race, but it's looking very much a 3-horse race at the moment. There's Ben Holland, over the line he goes.
Yep. If you get a chance when if you listen to the engine note coming out the corners, especially the slow corners, you'll hear the engine note spin up, and that's because the rear wheel spin. It's really important, not only that the passenger gets over the side to stop the outfit tipping up, but also gets weight over the rear wheel to get the thing driving.
Hegarty up to 8th. Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson. He bought a new pair of Kevlar gloves. They were slippery and he let go, and that's what it was. So the gloves are in the bin.
Well, I should think they would be.
Yeah, the gloves are in the bin.
There he is, back of the shop.
Callum Lawson, right behind Johan Reuterholt, Aki Alto, the Swedish-Finnish pairing, who sadly say they might not be back next season. The physical strain on a handicapped man driving and getting back and forth from Scandinavia every weekend has taken its toll a little bit.
Yeah, Reuterholt, paraplegic, but the happiest man in the paddock. He's always got a smile on his face and always got a word for you. He's quite sarcastic as well. He's had a bit of a pop at me a couple of times verbally. I don't really know until I've walked away and I think, oh, we're taking the mick, he was.
I don't understand why.
No, I give it out enough. I've got to be able to take it on the chin.
Reeves then, Jörg Steinhausen. And look at Roger Lovelock, still there, very much in touch, but this battle half distance now.
I'll tell you what, fastest man on track, Steinhausen, the man on the 39 outfit there, the BMW coloured outfit in 2nd. He's got the quickest lap of the race, and that's quicker than in race 1. It's quicker than Reeves and Hawes went in race 1, and this is unusual. I don't think that Reeves is expecting this.
Lovelock's.
Oh, here we go. Sorry.
Lovelock's just on a 1:38. 1:30.841, so Lovelock's on a bit of a charge. There, look at Lovelock closing, dragging Andy Peach along with him. So these 4 now really have opened up a gap from Ben Holland and Ricky Stevens.
Yeah, and you know that man then on the 49 green outfit, Lovelock and Lawrence, they've won the championship, and sometimes it's a lot easier to ride. You can kind of relax a little bit, and that helps you kind of flow, and it makes you go quicker.
Round 30s, up the climb then, out along the back straight, up through the gearbox. They'll go 3rd. 4th, 5th, just hooking top as they go down Pilgrim's Drop towards the right-hander, back to 5th gear for Hawthorne. Round they go, just snick, short shift, 6th here again before Westfield, back to 5th for Westfield, and I would imagine most of these outfits are similarly geared, James. It's pretty much the same as solos, much the same gearing.
Yeah, they'll all have. I don't think anybody will go to the expense of changing to a close ratio box, or whether that's even allowed within the rules. So they'll have standard road internal gears. They will, however, be able to change any external gear on the sprockets on the bike any way they want. Some choose to run a 5-speed strategy and not use one of the gears, either that be 1st or 6th. But yeah, certainly there will be an optimum way to gear these things, and they'll mostly be the same, I would have thought.
Well, what I like about this race is that Tim Reeves has not got away. 8 seconds his advantage. Just look at Steinhausen using all the track and more right across the rumble strip onto the green stuff. Not such a critical thing on a sidecar outfit as it would be on a solo.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you slide a little bit sideways, whether on a solo, if you slide sideways, chances are if it goes too far out sideways a rear wheel, you're gonna actually high side and crash. These things can slide about a little bit like a car, you know.
Well, Jörg Steinhausen 0.6 of a second adrift now of this pairing. Reeves and Ashley Hawes And right there with them, Lovelock and Lawrence, not content with second place in race 1, they're after second place in race 2. Stuart Muldoon coming in. Oh, Stuart Muldoon, that's a great pity for him. Phil Napton, Paul Napton's brother. Well, his weekend is over as well, and
yeah, you can see the lanyard, the wire hanging off the wrist of the driver. That's a cutout switch, so if it gets flung from the machine, it actually stops the engine, because not like a solo that falls on its side and it can't go anywhere on its own. These things, if it got rid of the driver and went back on its wheels with the throttle stuck open, which can happen and has happened, you know, it can keep going forever. It's like a car, it can keep going on its own until it hits something, where a solo can never do that.
Doesn't bear thinking about. And
no, it doesn't.
It could well have the passenger on board.
Absolutely.
Which is even more scary thought. But Ricky Stevens, I keep harping on about this young man in 6th place. Youngest pairing in the race. First full season on F1s, and what a revelation he is. Here we go.
Oh, somebody's off.
Oh, that's Ben Bygrave and Paul Napton. That's the Bill-based BMW. That's bad end to them.
It's got a long way from the track. I think the driver was still in the outfit, whether it's been over or not and back on its wheels, but it's a long way from the actual tarmac was that.
Well, the Bill-based BMW out of the running, and they were running in 8th place, which was a great pity for them for
red flag
reason. We've got a red flag here, and
how many laps have gone, I think?
That could be a result.
It could be a result, yeah. We've got the leaders have gone over 7 laps. Yeah, I think it is. It's a result, Barry.
Well, that is another win for Tim Reeves, albeit under circumstances we did not want to see. A red flag came out due to the incident involving Ben Bygrave and Paul Napton. Hopefully both of those guys will be okay. But there it is then. That brings the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship for 2012 to a close. The championship done. We are not racing at all tomorrow. That will elevate, of course. Oh no, Stevens was passed by Hegarty. So Hegarty got him. Whether we go a lap back or not, I don't know. We'll have to wait until we get a result.
I don't think we will to get the 2/3 distance and a race result, which I think it is.
There's Tim Reeves and Ashley Halls, 4 times world champion, race winners here. And just look at that, 95.41 miles per hour. Tim Reeves, local man, knows Brands Hatch like the back of his hand, and doesn't it show? Brilliant stuff. Well, I'll need to go and lie down in a dark room after this hectic season. It really has been full on, fantastic stuff. Confirmation coming up very shortly of the win, and we'll see who did what in the final race of the 2012 Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship. Rider and passenger from number 74, the Bill-based BMW, both on their way to the medical centre. Hopefully just a few knocks and bruises. The passenger thrown clear, and as James Whittam said, the rider, of course, still in the outfit. It's not something you can easily part company with, despite the lanyard. But Reeves and Halls having a natter pit lane, and that's Ben Bygrave there, Steve Bygrave, Ben Bygrave's father, down there in pit lane. Confirmation then of that short, sharp and spectacular last sidecar race. Reeves and Halls, Steinhausen, Clues, nearly a second adrift. Lovelock and Lawrence on the podium again, the champions. And Peach, Ben Holland, Sean Hegarty got the better of Ricky Stevens, pushing him down, but what a fantastic weekend that young man has had. Johan Reutel, he's still in the money. Scott Laurie recovered from the back of the grid, and Edwards and Barrett, we saw them spin on the Kawasaki in race 1. They recovered to 10th. Chaplow, Steve Kershaw from Scotland, he's there in 12th. Horsepole and Phil Hyde, 13th. John Holden, Andy Winkle, and Ian Drown and Ken Edwards picking up the final point in 15th place.
Well, there we go then. That's the sidecars. We're just going to let them draw up into Parc Ferme, and we're going to wrap things up. James Hayden is with me here at the end of pit lane. James Whittam is making his way out of commentary. He'll be with us in a moment. And James, really, we're going to talk about BSB, but I want to talk about British Supersport first, because you were commentating on the British Supersport race that we just saw, and I want to get your views on that. You heard the post-race interviews with Billy McConnell and Glenn Richards and Jack Kennedy. What did you make of team orders or the lack of them thereof in the race?
Well, firstly, I think they were very clear. There wasn't any team orders. You know, now you've got to go through a little bit of history with, you know, Billy McConnell's dad got Glenn Richards into racing, got him over here. You know, Billy came over. They're both from Adelaide. They're great friends. And it was a surprise. There's no two ways about it. I thought that he was going to help him. But, you know, there was no team orders. He was going for his championship to try and secure third. And Glenn is still leading. He's still got an 8.5 point lead. But the critical difference that makes is now, if Kennedy wins tomorrow, Richards has to finish second. Because if he finishes third, he loses by half a point.
Yeah, amazing. So, the maths in this are amazing. Now, let's take a look at the last half lap or so of the British Supersport race. And it was really at this point that I think we discovered here that really this was gloves off right now. We've got Glenn Richards leading, and Jack Kennedy, the crucial element in this, is in fourth. You were commentating at the time, James, but even so, at this point, were you thinking as we were here in pit lane, what are you doing, Billy?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, you know, you could understand it, and the thing is, it didn't come through. There's so many different races. There's so much. It's so deep. There's what's going on there. You've got to remember, you've got like 6 riders that finished within 0.2 of a second. Okay, so
great result.
It's very, very hard to plan for that, even if you had the best laid out team orders in the world. You can see they come around here. Jack Kennedy drives around the outside and nabs him on the line. So it's very easy to stand here and say, oh, maybe they should have done this, should have done that. But, you know, how would you have planned for that anyway?
Of course, absolutely agree with you. James Williams here. Step in here, James, for a second, because I remember a race here, World Supersport, in the World Supersport Championship, where it was similar sorts of things, but for a championship.
I was involved in it.
You were involved.
And you helped them out, didn't you, James?
I was told.
That's why I'm bringing you in.
5 people could have won the championship before the race started. I wasn't one of them. I could have only finished whatever in the championship. I was told by the Yamaha boss of Europe not to beat Jörg Teukert. I decided on the last lap I could win it, and I was going to tell with it. Went over the line, didn't win it, finished third by about half a rim, and then convinced the boss of Yamaha I did it on purpose to make it look good.
That was the plan, wasn't it? I remember being in the awning when you said that, and the incredulity on the Yamaha boss's face.
I just thought 120,000 Brits. I'm not going to. What
I can remember Rob Mack, wasn't it, saying, no, we planned it like that. He didn't want to make it look fake. Very clever.
Lawrence Kleinke comes in, they're going, right, he wasn't taking him by. Let's take a look then at the championship standings going into the race tomorrow. This is what it means. Now, it's just 8.5 points between Glenn Richards on 372 and Kennedy on 363.5. Billy McConnell is now 20.5 points ahead of Christian Idden. So you might think that Billy McConnell might ride shotgun, I guess, for Glenn, given that he looks pretty secure in that position now.
It's actually 30 points, so he is clear.
Sorry, 30 points, James. Yeah, but yeah.
So he can't
be caught now. So he's away on.
So if I was, I think, you know, any team boss is probably going to have a word with him tomorrow and say, you know, give him a little bit of help if you can.
For me, the interesting thing was not there was no team orders. That's fine. I've seen that before. It was the fact that there's no kind of matey kind of understanding between Glenn and Billy, the best mates. Anyway.
But what did you make of it? Well, I mean, I haven't heard from you. What was your take on it?
My take on it was that it was a harsh move by Billy. We know what Billy's like. That's why we like his riding.
Yeah.
If it doesn't cost Glenn the championship, nobody will say anything. If it does, you know, I think we will.
I mean, I think the fact is, you know, Glenn, he was completely cool. He shook his hand immediately after the win. And actually, that was the way they'd had it set out. There was no team orders. And let's not forget, that's the 5th of Billy's wins this year. You know, Kennedy's only won 6.
Yeah.
And Kennedy and Richards only won 7. So he's also fighting, you know, nothing signed as such. So, you know, there is lots going on. They hadn't sorry, got champagne coming down from us from up high. And
nice.
Here it comes. But they hadn't agreed on anything beforehand, and because of that, you know, you can't expect riders to, you know, to do anything differently, and he's going for his own ride.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's important that we don't sound like we're giving Billy a kick in.
No,
I just want to stress that I think we were all a bit surprised at the way the race played out at the end. Right. Another surprise, maybe a few surprises, came in the BSB race today.
Yep.
Not least of all because of what happened at the end. But right from the start of the race, Alex Lowes was out to chase down Shane Byrne, and Shaky tried to make the most of it, James.
Yeah, I mean, Shaky did exactly what we knew he would do. He was, you know, he got out in front and just tried to sort of use all his skill, all his knowledge, go easy on the tyres, and you just see him, he has that effortless style, doesn't he?
Yep, this is Shaky at Brands and what we're used to seeing him.
And the one thing they couldn't let him do was just eke away a couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there, and do exactly what he did. You're right, James. And that was what he was able to do. Then he got in his comfort zone. Then by then he's got like 0.8, 0.9 of a second. But
by the same token, James, I don't think you can... There's no shame in what number 22 there on the WFR Honda, Alex Lowes, did. He saw a little bit of rain coming down. He didn't want it stopped. He knew it to catch and beat. You know,
just before we get to that, though, look at Tommy Hill through here with Josh Brooks and all that scrapping there. Great to see Hill back in some sort of form.
But he needs to do more when Shane Byrne is in the mood and form he's in now. Alex Lowes did exactly what I had to do at the end. He wanted to take advantage of that drizzle, that little bit of rain coming down, take a risk, and it didn't work out, but he had to do it.
Yeah, no, and like, listen, if he did anything less, we would...
exactly that.
You know, that's the sort of rider he's 100% heart on the sleeve rider, and it was also maybe going to be the thing that's going to give him that advantage.
Exactly, that's the whole point.
Great to see Brooks and Hill going for it. Once they got past Easton and they could sort of settle down into a rhythm of their own, and there was no quarter after given between these two.
No, I mean, I was slightly surprised at Brooks, actually, because he was, you know, when I spoke to him on the podium, he just sort of said, I don't feel I should be here, you know.
I should have finished fourth, really.
And it's kind of, you know, this is...
that's where Alex has just gone down there. You could hear the crowd.
Could hear Alex in the bike. Shane Byrne crossed the line there. The rain came out. Alex, immediately you sort of look at that and you think possibly a collar, he's wrenched something, but he seemed okay towards the end. Clearly frustrated. He is made of rubber, absolutely. He's at that age, isn't he? But for Shane Byrne, just another great day for him. Inches ever closer towards that title at Brands Hatch, like you said.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, you got to respect Alex for what he tried to do. The rules are the rules, and the letter of the rules implemented. Fact is, it kind of, you know, makes... I would have loved to seen him just nick Shane Byrne and them going at it in both races tomorrow. It's not to be.
Well, I'll tell you, let's take a look at the standings going into tomorrow's two races. There is still 50 points up for grabs. Don't forget 2 races, 25 points for a win. And here's how the top 6 line up. And Shane Byrne is his lead, of course, 633 points. He's 18 points ahead now of Josh Brooks on the Taiko Suzuki. Tommy Hill in the Yamaha is back up to 3rd. It's sort of yours one way, then leans the next. Alex Lowes is in 4th place. Michael Laverty 5th, and Tommy Rodwell in 6th. They're out of it now, 68 and 80 points behind respectively. Lowes, it's still not over. Mathematically it could be done. Same for Tommy Hill, but you've got to say it's looking ever increasingly unlikely that they will get their hands on the title. But Josh Brooks is still there, guys. Josh Brooks is still there. And we will see Alex Lowes and we will see Tommy Hill tomorrow play major parts in this.
Well, as we've seen anyway, as we saw in World Superbike last weekend, as we see every time you see racing bikes go out, there's so many things that can happen. We've got the weather tomorrow as well that could play a major factor. And, you know, I just think it's 18 points. You know, it looks like it's going to be between Byrne and Brooks.
Takes one DNF, though.
One DNF, and exactly, it opens the whole thing up. So I just think we can have a fascinating race tomorrow. But I think also Brooks is going to be the one who's going to be going back tonight, talking to his engineers, thinking we need to get a bit more.
And that's the talking to himself, you know.
But that's the question, is Brooks the rider under most pressure now?
Yeah, I think
all of them.
I think he seems that way all weekend, you know, and I think that's kind of detracting from the loose kind of way he rides and the sort of risk taker that he is.
Yeah.
And I think the Josh Brooks that we've come to kind of know and love over the last couple of seasons, where it can go a little bit wrong when he takes a bit of a risk, I think we need to see him back tomorrow, and there is a chance.
And Shane Byrne walking a bit of a tightrope now, do you feel? Because he can't really take a risk, but he's still got to put in the speed and the effort and the performance.
Oh, it's not over, but certainly Shane will be the one sleeping best tonight, I think.
But all these guys are under enormous pressure, you know, it shouldn't be discounted. You know, they are really under it. You know, Shane, he said, look, I've won the championships before, but never like this. I've had it won by now. You know, I've never had to go into the last day of the season and go and win it. And I just think we're going to see some real fireworks tomorrow. And I don't know where they're going to come from, but we'll see them.
And once again, it could end up that we go into the last race of the championship with a couple of guys going for the title. The time for that, you need to know. It's all crucial about tomorrow, the final day of what has been a scintillating 2012 MCE BSB Championship. And it is 12:30. We are live here from Brands Hatch in Pit Lane tomorrow on British Eurosport HD. We will see you here for that. Set the alarms, get the kettle on. We'll join you with all the best BSB action. Round 15 of the MotoGP Championship from Motegi. Moto 2 and 3 is tomorrow morning, very early, 2:45 in the morning. That's live on British Eurosport HD, 7 o'clock for the MotoGP round. Don't worry if you can't drag yourself out of bed for that, because we're showing highlights throughout the entire rest of the weekend. You won't miss a single thing with British Eurosport, but if you do get up, well, a great way to warm yourself up for the action here at Brands Hatch. And that's it from Brands Hatch. It's cold, we've had a bit of rain, but there's been plenty of fireworks too. It's not that long either until bonfire night, is it? We'll see you tomorrow for plenty more here from Brands Hatch. Until then, goodbye.